Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining my Zoom event. I'm Joan Lok, and today what we are going to talk about actually would be, like some YouTuber does it when they went to visit someplace and then they show up what they bought. This is not one of those, but then since I'm a Sumi artist and I recently visited Hong Kong and Japan, and I actually visited Japan last year as well. So I have already shown you some of the things that I bought, and this time because I just went there like a year ago, so I didn't really shop as much, but I think some of the things that I bought may be of interest to you, especially the seal that is in different colors. I know some of you has taken my inscription um, inscription seal and signature workshop. Then I talk about besides red, there are other colors that you can use, and then I myself, actually mix the paint and get the color that I want. But and I was in Japan, I actually found a different color. So of course I bought all of them. Right. So I want to show you that. And then another thing that I want to cover today is actually a news about a very famous Lingnan artist. I don't want to put the thing in the content, but then I will, talk a little bit about him because unfortunately he passed away just maybe like less than 2 weeks ago. And then the third thing we want to talk about is because I do this every few months. So this is November. We are going to skip the holidays because everybody's busy in for Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year. But then I always do something for the Lunar New Year, and that will be the New Year of the horse. So we'll talk a little bit about ideas and things like that. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you is actually what I bought in I went to Hong Kong before I went to Japan. And I have to say, because I did so much damage in Hong Kong, I actually didn't buy much in Japan. Right. So this is what I bought. I bought all these pens,
Wow.
all these brushes. Yeah. So I have to say that, like, the store that I went to is Man Lun Zhuang. I think everybody heard of that. It's a very famous art supply or Chinese stationery store. And I have to say it's on the second floor. I knew it's on the second floor. I know it doesn't have a big front, but actually took me a while to locate it because it's a Hong Kong is a highly urban area. And the thing is, I have to say that my mobile phone carrier said that they are global. I don't have to buy special plan or SIM card. I mean, I have to say that, I was completely fooled. Okay, because last time when I was Japan, it kind of worked, right? Because my mobile carrier said that, oh, like when you buy our plan is global, you can get onto our network, whether you're in Europe or in Hong Kong, Japan, Canada, it doesn't matter. And so whatever charges that I have on my plan would be that charge. So I don't have to buy a particular SIM card or memory or hold on to something. So I thought it works because when I was, traveling in other country, it works. So when I was in Hong Kong, I didn't buy anything, and I was hoping that, and already saved the address, location into my Google Map on my phone. Okay. And then when I look at the bar, it actually say like, I think the maximum is the 4 or 5. I have 3 bars. So hey, I get connection, right? I get Wi-Fi, I get internet. And of course, when I click on it, well, I cannot find this store. It just keep thinking the map never come up. And it happened multiple times when we're looking for restaurants, when we're looking for location of libraries, and the map just keep thinking, but it did say 3 bars. So I have to say that next time when I'm traveling overseas, I think I'll do the old-fashioned way. I think I'll actually go to my printer and print a map. But anyway, get back to Maninjong. It's on the second floor. It's in a very small side street. Um, but then they actually didn't come like that. But then because I want to pack them all into my luggage, so I take off some of the um, packaging. But then these are actually a combination of um, professional brushes and also some student grade brushes. And most of them, I have to say that because I mean, I'm a Sumi artist, so as you know, I have a lot of brushes, just like you have in your own studio, right? We have too many brushes. But then the thing is, um, if you have been following my flower and landscape, you will know that I don't really buy landscape brushes. My old flower brushes become landscape brushes, right? And because of that, I'm mainly buying flower brushes. So these are the combination brushes that I talk about, the hard hair inside, thick soft hair outside. So I have to say that these are not cheap brushes. This is the long flow, extra large, and this one, Lingnan is written because it's actually is a special edition by Lingnan. And in US, it costs maybe 25, 35, 45, depends on size. They are not cheaper in Hong Kong. So this is a few $100 Hong Kong. So when you really calculate it, it's around 25, $35 Hong Kong. So they're not cheaper. The reason I bought it is because I can look at them. I can and then another thing is um what I like it, you probably see that. Um, and then if you come to my class, you'll know that if I like something, I buy two of them. And so you see there are a lot of brushes that look identical because I bought two of them. And and on the one that I have used before that I know they're good, I bought three of them or like two of them but then the same series and things like that. And the reason is because if you're a flower painter, you'll know this. I have one for the floral colors and one for the ink and leaf colors, and I highly recommend if you are a flower painter do that as well, because when we are painting, we do the flower and then we do the leaves and then we do another flower behind it. We do not paint all the petals and then wash and do the leaves because we do leaf, flower, leaf, flower. You don't want to have to wash, clean, reload, and then you have red in your brush, clean it, you have green in your brush, and then clean it, you have red in your brush. I mean, it's not as clean. But if you have a brush for petals and a brush for ink, um, you don't have to worry about the color contamination as much. All right. So if you have a chance, do that. And I have to say that this is, when I was, like paying, I think it's almost $3,000 US. I mean, 3,000 Hong Kong. So it's around $400 US when I bought all these brushes, right? So most of them are from Hong Kong, but then when I was in Japan, I also bought some Japanese brushes. The brushes I bought in Japan because I already have this. I already have this. So the brushes that I bought from Japan are mostly the really fine one. The You can see this. The These are really the fine one. These actually from the description, they are actually calligraphy brushes to write small um, words, small characters. So um, so I mean, actually one per little container, but I throw away some of the container and put three or four of them in one because it's just easier for me to ship. And then these also one per package, but then I bought. You see how small the brush is? Right. So these are for, for example, your gongbi painting, your really refined lines. And I think people who have done gongbi will know when you do gongbi paintings, the point, even you try to do that is, I mean, you try to keep it, you try to wash it, they do not, I mean, you lost that, a lot quicker than when you are doing like a bigger brush. So I bought multiple of these, kind of fine brushes, and they are from Japan. So these are the brushes that I bought, but I do have a YouTube on different kind of brushes and things like that. So you can go back and look at it, and but then basically these are all the brushes, and I think it costs, totally maybe around 400 US dollars. Yeah. So But then, this is the one I want to show you. I got it in Japan. It's actually still in the package. I haven't been open it yet. So, it- yeah, yeah, I haven't even opened it. This is um This is actually, I mean, of course, it's a brush, but they are basically made of twigs, right? And what do you use it for? I mean, you can use it for a lot of things. Of course, you can use it as a brush. You can use it as a duster. Um, but then my intention of what to do with it is to use it for really crazy calligraphy and texture. Um, I haven't tried it yet, but then I'll let you know how it looks like. But you see, like there are already some pieces falling off. Yeah. So I don't think this will last for too long. But then basically it's completely handmade, it's made of tweed and almost look like, the a boom, like that you can, maybe, I mean, I don't think people have a boom anymore. We use vacuum cleaner now. But then I I I do anticipate it to give very interesting texture because you can tell because there's no hair in it. Whatever liquid, ink, color, water you put on it, it probably cannot absorb too much. So I anticipate to have a lot of flying white. And since this is a relatively big one, I think it will make really interesting calligraphy. Or maybe if I do a full sheet of paper for landscape, this will make a really interesting mountain. I mean, like that's what I anticipate what this brush would do. But then this is the brush that I got from Japan. Um, so that's that. Um, these are some of the things that I got. Actually, I got these online, but then they are from Japan. And if you are a watercolorist, you would appreciate it. This is actually a Homine is from Japan, although the name doesn't sound Japanese, but they are made in Japan, and these are masking tape. And I bought different sizes, three, 30 millimeters, 40 millimeters, 12 millimeters, and like what have you. And what is the difference about this? This is called, if I can open one. I'm sure some of you, especially with you, do watercolor, you might have heard of it. I know that, like we use masking tape to protect the paper, the watercolor paper. So when you peel it off, the edges would be safe. Um, this is called Nitto tape, Nitto, Nitto tape. And I have to say that these it really stick to the paper, but when you peel it off, it doesn't damage the paper. Um, I have to give it to the Japanese. I have used different masking tape before, but of course, they are relatively more expensive. Um, the regular masking tape that you can buy from Home Depot, or like this is the duct tape, general purpose masking tape that you use when you paint your house. I use that for my watercolor as well. But then these, I have to say that I use it for the edges, but these is for the inside of the paper because when you peel it off, it doesn't damage the paper, and it's called Nitto tape, Nitto. And so these are the masking tape from Japan. And since we are on the subject of masking tape, I want to show you this is what I bought from Tamiya. Tamiya is not an art supply store. Tamiya is actually a maker of plastic models like tanks, um, airplanes, um, ocean, carrier, um, you know, warships and little plastic models. And this is for hobbyists that, if you want to paint an airplane with a thin line and you want some masking, this is the masking. And you see what's the length of it? I mean, the width is 1 millimeter and 2 millimeter. And you see how? You can't even see it. It's so thin, you know. And I haven't used it yet, but then my intention is to use it for my watercolor because I have a photo of a guitarist. And of course, you can use masking fluid, but then I found it very hard to draw a really strict, clean line to save um, the wire on the guitar, and I plan to use it for my guitar painting. And I haven't decided what to do with it for the Sumi yet. And this, I haven't tried it yet, but because they actually peel off pretty well, I will see what I can do with Sumi paper. I have a gut feeling that I think some Sumi paper, it can protect it. I have the gut feeling that it can, but I'll let you know. But these are the various masking tape that I got from Japan. And as I say, while we're on masking tape, and I have to say that these are just some of the things just for the fun of it. These are also masking tape, right? So they are not sticker, they are masking tape, but they are of very beautiful Japanese design, right? They are of very beautiful Japanese design. So I have this. I haven't even opened this tray, but they are of, Japanese figures and also Japanese flowers. And last but not least, on my masking tape, um, this is not for art, but I have to say that I have a Hello Kitty masking tape sticker, so I just have to get it because they are not available outside of Japan, and these are the 50th anniversary. So some of them are kind of um, the poster that Hello Kitty used in the last 50 years. So I think it's very interesting. So I got it. Um, I'm not sure, but then maybe in a cool collage artwork, maybe I'll use them. Then you may see it. But these are the masking tape that I got. But they are not as art related. But let's go to the one that is more art related. These are these are the paste for the seal that I got, and I didn't throw away the boxes. They actually come in different color, yellow, blue. I bought all that is available. And I already have red, but just for the fun of it, I bought the red as well. Green, white, and black. So I haven't really used it yet, but this is how it looks like. It's pretty small. And um, because I mean, like according to the description, they are actually made in China. Um, they are, I mean, I do not see it in a Chinese store in Hong Kong, but I see it in Japan. Um, and then um, there are different colors, and they are quite true on the color that they have on the this is black, yeah, on the cover, right? So it's white, and this is red and green and blue and the green, right? So I think people want to see how it's used. So I actually find, let me see, I find a painting. Hmm. Okay, I just randomly go to my pile of artwork to find a painting. So, like it's not as thoughtful on the selection of the artwork, but what I want to show you is how it looks like, right? So one of the reasons that you pick a different color, because honestly, the classic color is red, and there's nothing wrong about it. But then occasionally, when you have an artwork that really there's no red in it, and or maybe this one is more traditional, but say for example if you have something that is more modern, and then you actually think that the red mark is out of place or something like that, or you think that another color may work better, you may be tempted to do that. And I'm thinking maybe how about, like instead of red, I use the green. So and then, like I haven't this is actually one of my demo piece in one of my landscape workshop. So usually I sign before I do the seal, but say for example, just for the heck of it, we are going to put a seal in this artwork. And I decided that I'll put it here to anchor this corner of the painting. I don't want it here. I think it blocked the chi. I think the energy come down here and then goes here. Of course, it can go here too, but then I can either put the anchor seal here, or maybe I can put my name and signature and put my name seal here. So maybe I'll do that. I mean, I'll have my name here and then I'll put my signature seal here. So let's do that. Let's see. Okay. So I think in my seal and signature workshop, I already talk about, like when you have a seal, you do a imprint so you know how it looks like, right? So maybe here, but let's see how it look with this green, right? This is the first time I'll do that. Let's see. So you see that the pace is not that much. The circle is kind of small, so we probably um, would not have very big seal on these unless we want to do something different. And I like to put something soft on the back and here, sign here. So my seal would be here. Okay, this will be the first review of a green seal. Ta-da! I'm not sure how you like it, but the green is quite opaque, although I put it on a white paper. But then if you use the white and on a darker surface, I do think that they are all opaque. Even the yellow, I think is quite opaque. So this is how it looks like. My suggestion is just like, sometimes I have my signature and seal, on a spare piece of paper. And then when I'm deciding where to put my signature, I can put it everywhere and then see, what is the best place to put it. So what I plan to do is I will have a spare piece of paper and then of all the colors, right? So since I already have this one, let's do it one more time. Okay, so I have this, okay? But the thing is, because most of the time we're gonna use red, so if I use green on this, one of the things I really must do is I have to clean this pretty well. Because when I go back to my red one, I may contaminate my paste and I might also, have little debris of the previous color. So that's the things that you want to make sure that if you do that, ensure the color is nicely clean, right? I'll probably use a new Xeron wrap on that, right? So any questions on the seal one? So I can put these away.
How are
Um,
you cleaning your
oh,
seal?
you just use this is how I do it, right? So after you have, because I usually do my seals with a bunch of painting. I don't do my signature each time. I mean, like you take all the excess off first, right? Okay. And and because this is a piece of um paper, this paper towel. Just did this. And since I have to say that most of the time I'm going to use red, so I want to make sure the green is really out, right? I mean, you don't have to go the way of, using a needle and, kicking that out. You don't have to, because I mean, just use some pressure with your finger. You can go into the kind of like the hollow area, the engraved area, and get the dirt out. But basically, like do it on the side. And I do it with my red seal as well. But I have to say that usually I don't do it as I mean, I may not care as much of how clean it is, but then since I just use the green, yeah, I want to make sure that they're clean. Okay, now it's pretty clean. Let's see. Right, it's pretty clean. I mean, I'm trying to like do an imprint on it, and like I see a little bit of dirt, so maybe like do it again. But you clean your red seal as even you use the red. You don't just put it onto your box, because it will make things dirty. See it? Some of the red is coming out. So I think all the green are gone. So there you go. Right. You are not going to have 100%, but then basically you don't want any residue on this. And now you can use it for another color. So actually, I'm curious. I want to see how the yellow look like. Let me see. Where's my yellow? Here. They are pretty true to, what you see on the cover. So, and this is just a piece of Saran wrap, and it's obviously broken after I use it. So, at the end of this, when I have time, I would actually get another piece of Saran wrap and kind of ensure that it doesn't dry up too early. Because like all things, like with time they will dry it up. And besides, this is not airtight. Okay. I'm curious to see how the yellow look like. Oh, where's my yeah. White on yellow may not show that much, but we'll see. Okay. Ta-da! Oh, actually, it looks pretty nice. I'm not sure you can see it. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Yeah. So again, now that it's yellow, although it doesn't look that dirty, but then you have to really clean it. So clean the edges, and then I probably need another piece of paper towel. Just, press it down. So turn around. So all the dirt will come up. All right. This is not too bad. And the good thing is, well, because I clean it, you don't see any red and you don't see any green on this. Because if you don't clean it, then we have some residue and it may not be what you want, right? All right, so let's see. Okay, so we have that, and then we can put it back onto the,
Joan,
yes.
so if you were to put it in some kind of a thin layer of a solvent of some type, that would that ruin that? I mean, that would really do a good cleaning, but then in the end, maybe it
I
would
would
ruin
not
the
do that.
item.
I would not do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because the 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 stone that we carve these on, although they are different grades, sometimes people even use jade, but then they are relatively soft rocks. So they are not very, I mean, because you have to think about it, although, like the carving knife is sharp, but then basically you can actually, like put these with your hand And so the rocks is actually quite soft. And when you say a rock is soft, usually they are porous. So if you use chemical and things like that, it may absorb into the rocks, into the I mean, because sometimes they use glass or some other thing, but they are rocks and they are phosphorus, and I would not use chemical on them. As a matter of fact, I don't even use soap. I basically just you have you seen that I haven't even used water because these are oil based. So even you use water, you can't clean that off. I'm not sure whether you have the experience because sometimes for the red one, especially when you first learn how to do sumi, sometimes we make a mess doing the seal, right? Sometimes we, whatever we do, we just make our hand dirty. And then you went to the bathroom and tried to clean it, the redness doesn't go away because these are actually oil based. And so I don't use soap, I don't use water. I basically just use my, like dry and just rub all the dirt away. So I would not do that to use soap or any solvent. It's just like these. Um, there are some soap for watercolor brushes and there are people who use soap to clean this, but Sumi artists, or at least most Sumi artists, we only just use water. We don't want any solvent on them because the natural oil will be gone. So it's the same theory. Right. So last but not least, as I say, I actually didn't do much shopping in Japan, but in Hong Kong and Japan, I bought something kind of interesting. Um, this is what I have all along. Let me just use this it show better. Okay. This is what I have all along. I went to a Paul Jackson workshop, who is a very famous watercolorist, and this is actually some material that a draftsman would use when they, make a blueprint for an architectural painting, drawing or things like that. This is to make, different kind of shape. And I bought it from him, and what we use it is to clean up some area. We use a magic eraser or Mr. Clean. Use a little bit of water, and then you can clean a white spot or a thin line out of this. And so this is something that I have for a good number of years. And I have to say that sometimes it's not the shape that I want, and things like that. So when I was in Hong Kong in a stationery store and I found this, I bought them. And they are basically stencil, but then I like the shape. They have flowers, they have little squares, they have oval, circle, moon shape, and star. So I think they are interesting enough. So this is what I bought in Hong Kong. But then I went to Tamiya, which is the model store, and I got this. And let me show you what it looks like. Um, and they are 880 yen, so it's about I think $6 or $7 US. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But they are very thin stencil, almost like a razor blade. I mean, be careful when you handle because these edges are very sharp. But then they have all this really interesting shape. So if you want to have a white spot or you want to clean a particular area from your watercolor, you can use this with a Mr. Clean. And since I am there, and of course, I bought the shape that I think I may use. So I have oval, I have circle, and I have squares. And I haven't used them yet because I haven't started watercolor in months, because of my travel and my my interest in Sumi-e. So I haven't really done watercolor yet, but then this will be something that we can use for a watercolor. So these are actually all the things that I got from Japan on the art supply. So any questions on what I just showed you? I think they are just interesting because some of you may not use this, some of you may not use the very thin masking tape, which I think is quite interesting. So I think they are interesting enough to talk about. And of course, the seal in the paste in different color. So if you don't have any questions, actually, I want to change gear and talk about something else. So let me just do the share. Mhm. Okay, so this is what I talk about. That I will talk about a person in Lingnan, but I didn't actually write down what happened. It's Mr. Henry Wu Yuji, Wu Yuge, and I know that many of you have heard of him. And if you are in the Washington D.C. area, you may have been his student because he was living in Alexandria area and he teach from his residence for probably for the last 20 um, for 25, 30 years, so you may have been one of his students. So Mr. Henry Wu Yuji has just passed away on October 29th and at the age of 98. And what we have behind us, the part with the blue and the painting is actually the notification that the family sent out. And then the interesting thing is, if you read Chinese, you know that although, born in August 27, passed away in October 25, in the Western term is 98 years old. But then when you look at how the in the blue, it actually said that he passed away at the age of 99. Because if I think in some of my other classes, we talk about in the Chinese counting of age, when you're born, you're 1 year old. So when he passed away on October 29, he was 99 years old, according to his family. So, and behind me, the Mandarin duck and lotus is actually one of his earlier work. This piece of artwork is actually two pieces of full sheet watercolor, full sheet rice paper. So you see that there may be a kind of like right here, there was kind of like a slight line in between because it's actually two pieces of paper. When they are mounted on two pieces of paper, and then like kind of like when they display together. Okay, so this is actually one of his most famous work of lotus and Mandarin duck. And let me just do one more. Okay, I have a few. If you do not know him, this is the gentleman. This is Mr. Wu. We usually call him Henry. And you see that there's another painting of his. And if you look at the words, this one, oh, this one didn't have the date there. This is actually a centennial retrospective of Henry Wu Yuji, and the show is still going on. The show opened in October, at the end of October, and runs through March of next year. All right, and it is in Dongguan Art Museum, and Dongguan is the town that Mr. Hu was born. So that is kind of like his hometown. So he have a centennial retrospective in his hometown, and he, at the age of 98, he was living in Taiwan. And from Taiwan, from Taipei, he actually flew into Dongguan, um, um, uh, opened the reception, enjoyed the festivities, the talks, and the dinners and gathering and things like that. And then he came back to Taiwan, and then maybe a week after, then he fell ill. He went to the hospital, and then another week he passed away at the age of 98 or 99, which is very elderly. So you see that there's another um, lotus painting of his. So I have two more slides of his work. This is another lotus painting of his. This was done in 1983 when he was living in the Alexandria, Virginia area. And the interesting thing is when he signed his work, see, He say 1983, Yuji painted it in the U.S. Capitol because it's the Metro DC area. Because Alexandria, like he liked to sign it as U.S. Capitol. So that's basically when he did it in Alexandria. This is of course another lotus painting, and this one is not the lotus because the lotus flower is already done, and this is actually lotus in the snow when the lotus flower has already gone, but then the leaves are kind of still hanging in there, and there are some sparrow in a snow scene. Um, Mr. Hu, of course, he is good with different kind of Lingnan art. He is a student of Master Zhao Xiao'an, and he came to the U.S. in 1975, and has been living there since until in his 80s. He decided that, like, because in his 80s, he had been in US for like more than 40 years, and he want to go back to the Far East. So he initially went back to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong moved to Taiwan because that's where his kids are. He have, I think, 4 or 5 kids, and all of them professional and living in Taiwan and Hong Kong and also the US. And this is another floral painting of his, also of lotus. Um, and I because I just did something on Master Zhao Xiao'an, and last year I did it on Ao Hongnan. So I haven't decided if we're going to do something about Mr. Wu, but then uh you will probably see that he is a master of painting lotus. And not only that, he's a master of atmospheric wash. You see that the misty, the dreamy wash that you see in the painting of lotus. I purposely pick all the lotus. But then, the wash, the water, the sky, and the moon, and here the first one. Yeah, quite atmospheric, quite interesting, dreamy, romantic, and excuse me, but that's his style. Any questions? Hmm. Um, I am also the historian of the Sumi Society of America, and if you look at the quarterly issue, the last one and the one before last, I occasionally write articles about, like phenomenal artists that unfortunately passed away. So I just prepared another article about Mr. Henry Wu, and probably it will be in the upcoming issue of the Sumi Quarterly. So if you are a member, do look at it. Yeah. Yeah, he did teach, he taught in Martha's Vineyard. As a matter of fact, he has a second home in Martha's Vineyard. Um, he um he has a very close connection in Martha's Vineyard because when he actually gained fame and fortune quite early in his life. So even in the 1960s, he's already traveling across um the world to exhibit his art. And one of the stop that he exhibit in US is actually Martha's Vineyard in a gallery there in the 1960s. And and because he was so popular, and the gallery owner talked to him and think that he will really work, can really work as a professional artist selling his art in the US. So he and his family, at that time he's already married with, I think, maybe 2 kids or 3 kids. Yeah. So he and his whole family moved to the US, and he has a second home in Martha's Vineyard, but then his main residence was in Alexandria. And then he called it Art Farm Studio or Art Farm or Art Press, but it's in, I mean, some of my research material when I wrote the book, but he was in Martha's Vineyard. That's him. Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah. His cast is always fully booked. His As a matter of fact, uh, he was our judge in 1996 or 1998 because, as I said, I just wrote the article, so I research on to verify all the dates. That class was fully booked as well, and then because he lived in um, Washington D.C., so the Sumi Society also has a chapter, the NCAC, the National Capital Area chapter, also kind of like cover the Metro DC area. And so Mr. Hu, of course, as I say, he taught in his studio. When I say his studio, actually his home. What he did is, because I've been to his class, I mean, like most houses in the Washington suburb has a two-car garage. And so what he did is he actually used his two-car garage and put, like folding tables, folding chairs. So it become a workshop space, and he would talk at, for example, the end of the wall, like where he talk, and then in front of it would be like lines of 3 or 4 lines of folding tables, and then each of the table would have like 3 or 4 chairs or something like that. So maybe 15, 20 students can be in the two-car garage. And I have to say that, I've been there, a few times, like, and we have some giggling of all the things. This is recorded, so I'm not going to, go into the details, but then like we have some fun with Mr. and Mr. Wu because they have very different personalities. So like we would do a full day workshop. So we'll bring our meals, and then we'll do the learning, and then we'll eat, we'll chit chat, and then like it's a lot of fun. But then his class is always full, and then the NCAC, the local chapters also would invite him to do workshop with them at a local location that it was a former church, but was a kind of like a Chinese language school that we can borrow and rent the space, kind of like community center. And then we will also ask Mr. Wu to do demo for us. And so he was a very popular character in the local chapter. The thing is, in probably, as I say, when he passed 80s, he decided to, move back to kind of like his homeland. So, but then, he would actually come back to the US for his annual physical. And every time when he come back, in the very beginning of his travel, he will actually do a workshop with us in the 2, 3 weeks that he's in the US. But then when his age become more advanced, he actually stopped coming back. Or when he come back, he doesn't come back to the Washington, D.C. area. He would just go to Martha's Vineyard because, as I say, he has a second home there. And when I say second home, he has 2 houses, one in Alexandria, one in Martha's Vineyard. But when he moved back to Hong Kong, he sold a house in Alexandria. And then when he was teaching the workshop, he was actually staying with one of my classmates, Marie, in McLean, because I stay in that house as well. But then he did not sell the property in Martha's Vineyard, and I'm sure that he gave it to one of his kids, so it's still in the family. So I do think that they still go there for vacations, and he also taught in that location in his house in Martha's Vineyard as well. So let's see if I have any more comments or yeah. So this is coming to very close to my hour. So I want to ask actually the last thing that I plan to do in today's workshop is what do you want to do for the celebration for the New Year of the Horse? Probably sometime in February of 2026. So just a little review. Last year, because this is the year of the snake. So I actually did the explaining the word, the character of the snake, and then we actually did a painting together of the treasure bowl with the bowl looking like the snake. So we did that. And then the year before is the year of the dragon. And because I already have a workshop on how to paint the dragon, so I actually talk about the dragon calligraphy. We focus on the kanji and also the Chinese characters for the word dragon. And then I show different way of making the word dragon in the calligraphy. So we did that on that. So any suggestions on what you want to do for the year of the horse? And you can type it onto chat if you don't want to say it on camera. Okay. I myself was thinking we'll do again the calligraphy for the horse because I'm not sure whether you remember, but then when I show you how to do the calligraphy for the snake, the Chinese character is very interesting. If you do a stroke a little bit too long or too short, it become a different word, a completely different word, a completely different meaning. And the same thing with the word horse in kanji. If you do the stroke a little bit too long, then it become the word cow. So instead of horse, become a cow. So I think it's interesting. So I want to show you guys that and how to kind of like how to tell the difference. So with the line is this length, then this is the word horse. But with this line is this is the word cow. And then also there are multiple meaning for the word. So we can do that. Yeah. And okay. I do have a questions on yeah, I mean, I will be more than happy to travel to different places to teach. I myself now is located in Florida, so the travel cost could be significant. But then with there's an organization, a group of students or individuals that are um you know uh like willing to work out the numbers, I'll be more than happy to consider it because I am retired. So I do have the time to travel. So if you are interested, like email me and talk about the logistic. But I do have to say that like I'm in Florida and going up to New York, the travel cost could be a little bit unaffordable for some students. But if we can work out the numbers, I'll be more than happy to be teaching workshop. And in Florida, I have been teaching online workshop. I have to say that I'm a little bit lazy in looking for a place to host me because when I was in Maryland, I teach regular workshop at a art supply store called Plaza, and in Maryland and also in different actually in Towson and also in Rockville stores, and they do have a location. They do the advertising for me, and so I just show up. And in here in Central Florida, I have to say that I have not approached any local art supply store to like introduce myself for that. With there's any art association interested in me teaching, I'll be more than happy to. Um, oh yeah, you have took classes with me in Plaza. Thank you. I mean, I hope to see you again. I'm in Central Florida. Email me, and I do take private lessons, but I have to say the private lesson is one-on-one, so it may be a little bit higher in price. But then I honestly have to say that nothing beat teaching in person because I can actually see how you hold the brush. And if there's anything that I saw that need a little bit of adjustment, it can be right on the spot instead of looking at the things after the fact. And another thing is because I don't have more than one camera, I mean, it's not that I didn't try. As I say earlier in the beginning of the chat, I'm not really that tech savvy. I actually don't know how to set up multiple cameras and how to toggle through them and things like that. So like if you want to see something, I'll do it again. But then because of angle, you may not be able to see as well. So in-person workshop is always the most valuable. And it's not, and nothing beats seeing the original work. I mean, although, for example, you can see this artwork, but nothing beats actually standing up close and personal and looking at it, you can see the brushwork and things a lot better. So um, uh, if you are interested in workshop in Florida or nearby places that travel cost is not outrageously unaffordable, I'll be more than happy to do that. For the New York one, as I say, if we can work something out, I'll be more than happy to come up there. But then I do have to say that, the travel cost could be a little bit high because we are so far away. But what I know is sometimes some artists like to do like a roadshow. So they will, like travel from Florida to teach something in Mobile, Alabama, and then go up to maybe I don't know, like Virginia and North Carolina, and then North Carolina, Virginia, and then maybe Maryland and Maryland, New Jersey, and then go to New York, right? So when we go that way, then you just have to pay, maybe just part of the travel cost or things like that. So it may work out, but that would be something that we can talk about. I am available, I'm willing, I'm happy to do that, but I do have to say that it appears that the travel cost and also the logistics is a little bit harder. I have observed that after the pandemic, maybe because during the pandemic, so many things closed, many art community center did not reopen, and many nonprofit and or art related activities, because of grant or because of lack of volunteers and things like that, um, the activity is kind of, like it's not as vibrant as pre-pandemic. I know that the recovery was started when the pandemic was over, but then it has been a few years post-pandemic, but then the level of activities has not really come back to the same level. So one of the reasons is because the location to host those um, events are actually less not as available. So there are multiple reasons that we can always have a different talk on that. But I thank everyone for the time for joining me. And Firehouse, how are they incorporated movement? I don't understand the questions. Oh, fire horse. How? Oh, um, the zodiacs is based on the 12 animal, right? The 12 zodiac animal. And also there are 10, I mean, it's like heaven and earth, right? There's 10 elements that are the animals. So we know that the horse, the tiger, the snake, we talk about it, right? And then there are also 10 elements, which is divided into 5 types. Although I say 10, but it's 5 types. So there are 2 fire, 2 earth, 2 water, and so on, so the 5 elements. And 5 times 12 is 60. And that's why the cycle is 60. And when it comes to the fire horse or the water horse or the earth horse, it's because the elements is one of them, right? And then the animal is one of them. And that's why how are they calculated? The calculation is actually based on a cycle. And as I say, I have a workshop on inscription, signature, and seal. I actually prepare a I actually made those words and the translation into a Excel spreadsheet, and you can see the 60 cycle, and then it will just be repeated. But that's how they are calculated, is a cycle. So in the olden time, because of disease and the lack of advancement in medicine, living beyond 60 or 70 is actually quite rare. So 60 as a cycle is kind of like unlikely to be repeated in one's lifetime. But of course, nowadays, many of us are actually beyond 60. So because of advancing in medicine, we live beyond 60. But in the olden time, 60 as a cycle is already kind of like it's good enough. So every 60 year you will have that again. So next year is the horse. Okay. So I will like actually cut off the recording. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me see, I have, okay, yeah. So And thank you, everybody. I will post it online. And if you are joining me online for the first time, because I never say this, but I'll do that. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know what it does, but everybody's saying it. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you. Bye-bye.